Oh, me and my little elves.
Oh, that is adorable.
Do you know that the name Avery means leader of elves? Did you know that?
No.
That's my
No.
Yes.
Did you know that when you named him?
I had no idea.
Wow.
I saw leader, and then I said of elves, and I was like, great, he leads a bunch of small people around.
He's one of Santa's helpers.
But they're growing up so fast. Look at their beards are growing in. Anyway.
All right, seriously, what would Christmas or any holiday be really without cranberries? What would it be? I asked you. I ask you to ask yourselves that at home. With the secrets and science of this beloved holiday fruit, our kitchen scientist himself, Dan Kohler. Welcome,
Hello, Dan.
Thank you. The humble cranberry actually is a very native American fruit. It's been eaten in this country for centuries, in part because it's incredibly healthy. It's of the fruit. Sophie, you can back me up on this. It's got one of the highest levels of antioxidants, right?
It's got 6 phytonutrients.
There we go. And it was also used for medicine for a long time. The first time we actually have evidence of it in writing, though, is in the 1500s when we have colonists sending barrels of cranberries back across the ocean to the British king as a gift because they didn't have them over there. And I want you guys to start eating. We've got some cranberry scones for everybody coming in.
Come on, bring in the scones.
Bring in the scones.
Bring in the scones.
But let's talk about that name, cranberry. I mean, you ever wonder where it comes from? So actually, early European settlers originally called this the craneberry. And we've got a picture of the original flower because they thought that the flower and the stem looked like the neck and bill of a crane. We've got a drawing of a crane as well. But most of the time when we talk about cranberries, we're talking about what's in them. But today I actually want to talk a little bit about what's not in them. Cranberries are really powerful because they've got 4 air pockets inside. And you might be scratching your head and saying, what is that useful for? But it's really actually powerful for harvesting. You see, cranberries are grown in low, dry areas. And then, in order to harvest them, the areas are completely flooded. So we hear about cranberry bogs, right? And that's where we start harvesting.
Common among cranberry harvesting equipment are these large handmade water reels that drive through the bog, gently brushing the berries off their vines. Though a strong breeze helps gather the berries, farmers must wade through the bog with a floating boom and rakes to collect all the fruit. Treading carefully through the vines below, farmers corral the berries into one magnificent sea of red. With the help of water jets, the berries are guided onto a conveyor, where they're suctioned into trucks standing by to transport the freshly harvested fruit.
Is that you?
No, that unfortunately was not me. I didn't have the luxury of doing that. But that's all because of those 4 air pockets. They make harvesting cranberries so easy. But now it's time to talk about what's inside the cranberry. We've talked about what's not there. What's inside is a chemical compound called pectin. Pectin we find in fruits, but in cranberries we've got one of the highest concentrations of it. Pectin is a polymer. It's a long-chain polymer. And polymers, you got to picture this, they're long molecules and they like to get tangled. So we're talking about entanglement here. Imagine, you see it right there. If you just were holding 2 chains of those separately, nothing would happen. But when you cook cranberries, all of those chains start to seep out. And what happens when you throw a bunch of shoelaces in a dark box? They get tangled up, right? And actually, when they get tangled, they slow the flow of liquid. And that's what we've got here with this jellied cranberry sauce. Most people think this has got gelatin in it. It's actually not. This is completely jellied because of the pectin inside the cranberry.
So you're saying my belly is made of pectin because it jiggles like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have got a pectin belly. A 6-pectin belly.
That's good. Oh my gosh, you see that? Twice in 1 week.
That's right. But you know, this Christmas morning, I like to really serve my family some cranberry scones. They're so easy to make. It's a great thing. You're all sharing it together. It's fun to break them apart and eat together. And mine's a little darker. It's rustic. I like to add some rye flour or buckwheat flour and whole wheat flour into the mix.
Yeah, I like it.
They're a little hearty, they're a little darker, and they're a little bit healthier for you because of that, right? Yeah. Whole grains. I fold in some dry cranberries, and then you just want to process the butter with your hands like this until it's the size of small peas. After that, you're going to mix in a little bit of milk, and you just knead it very gently. These should not be kneaded very heavily. You don't want them to get tough.
Yeah, but you know, cranberries aren't in season.
That is
what
true.
What do you do about that?
That is true. We are using dried cranberries here. You can also find some frozen cranberries. Cranberries are really only in season. They grow in September and October. They're harvested. They're in season through the rest of the year, and that is it. They are a very seasonal fruit.
You can't grow them inside. That's it. If you don't,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's why we eat them at the holiday time. So you can see right here, I'm just sprinkling it with some turbinado sugar. I've got an egg wash on there. and we're just cutting it into triangles.
Look at that. Oh.
I'm going to separate it.
Dan?
Just yes, ma'am.
What about the canned one?
What about the
They're not in
canned?
season.
What about the canned one? What
She
about
wants to know where the canned ones come from if they're not in season.
Kim? Don't you know where canned things come from?
No, I just was saying sometimes when you get sometimes when you can't get them, I do the can.
Yes. Guys, these go in the oven. They come out in about 30 minutes. They're so easy to bake. It's such a fun thing to share with your family this holiday season.